Hey, Shalom, Shalom, Shalom. First and foremost, as usual, before I begin with this lesson, I want to start it off by giving all the glory and infinite praise to Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahawashi, by Hashem Rakah HaKadosh. Double honor to the elders and the apostles, great millstone, who I'm taught and learn this truth 100% from. Peace and blessings be to all you Wakim, that is serving Yahweh Shema Shan sincerity, hoping for mercy and salvation in these last days, man. To you I say Shalom and Yahweh Shema Shan Brakathum. So I believe I'm entitled this lesson, many would denounce Yahawashi during the hour of temptation. Many would denounce Yahawashi during the hour of temptation. I don't know what gave me the inspiration to get this lesson that title. I was just reading over the book of First Maccabees when it goes into when Antiochus Epiphanes, he was setting up his rule, and it was a vigorous ass rule at that. Right, similar to what we seeing being set up right now when it comes to this man Trump being in office and pushing forth that agenda, man. We living in the worst time in history, but as they say, history repeats itself. So when you take a look in the book of Maccabees, it goes into the account of the destroying of the first temple and how they was forcing Jake to conform to their customs, man. They was basically forcing Jake to become Hellenist. And you had Jake at that point in time who kept their integrity and stood stiffly for the customs in the name of the Lord. And you had Jake that was saying fuck it and was selling out. Jake was tucking their tail and basically just going and conforming to the ways of the so-called white man, conforming to the ways of the heathen. And it's gonna be no different when they set this digital system up. You got all these Jakes, they gonna get to tucking their fringes and they gonna get interrogated. And a lot of them gonna denounce the name of Yahawashi. And the first scripture that I want to get is the book of Matthew 26 and 24, because there's a reason why when Yahawashi told Peter that he was going to denounce him 3 times, all right, or when a cock crowed 3 times that he was going to denounce him, Peter didn't believe that, right? And back in Peter's mind, he like, man, you tripping? I never do that to you. That's the same mindset that Jake has when it comes to the so-called Hebrew Israelite community. Right? You got Jake that swear up and down that they won't denounce Yahawashi, this, that, and the third. But when that pressure from above and pressure from below is applied, man, you're going to have a different type of spirit on you. And this is why, hey, we all got to hope and pray, that we stand stiffly for the name of the Lord. We all got to hope and pray that we ain't them 2/3 that's going to, basically depart from the faith. Just like when Yahawashi, he went to speak in the parables and had Jake, eat my flesh, drink my blood, so on and so forth. You had a lot of niggas that stopped, that basically fell away because of what Yahawashi said, because they ain't have no understanding. But the point being is that there's going to be another falling away, in a time shortly soon to come, man. And you got Jake falling out right now over little shit. Jake falling out because of financial situations. You got Jake falling out the truth. Jake stopped worshiping Yahawashi because they going through shit with their baby mama. If you can't even deal with that, what makes you think that you're going to deal with being jammed up in a FEMA camp, not knowing what the fuck finna happen next? If you falling out over financial situations and shit now, you definitely gonna fall out whenever they force that MOTB, because you're not gonna be out here having no type of pape or whatever you want to call it, no motion, whatever the fuck Jake like to say. You're not gonna have none of that going on. But again, a lot of Jake is comfortable here, especially in these other different groups, which is why, you gonna denounce Yahawashi when that time come, man. Right? Because you ain't got no damn foundation, man. This is the book of Matthew 26 and verse 34, and it reads, I'm going to start at 33. It says, Peter answered and said unto him, though all men shall be offended because of thee, yet will I never be offended. You know, it was in nowhere near in Peter's mind that anything that Yahawashi could say to him, or anything that Yahawashi said that would be contrary to, you know, what he think, you know, Peter, he wasn't trying to have it. All right, that's how a lot of Jake think today. And you supposed to think with a mindset of standing stiffly for the name of the Lord, but you also better hope and pray that the Most High, hey, the Most High put the Spirit on you not to, that you're part of that. Revelations 2:10, that you be kept, man. All right, but here's the point. It says, but Yahawashi answered and said unto him, verily I say unto thee, that this might before the cock crowed, thou shalt deny me thrice. Peter said unto him, though I should die with thee, yet will I not deny thee. Likewise also said all the disciples. All right, so Peter was basically like, man, I'd rather die. I'll die before I deny you. All right, and then later on, I think when you read in the next chapter, you know, around the time of the Passover, the cock crowed 3 times, and Peter, he ended up denying Yahawashi. He got his flesh shook up. He seen Yahawashi going through that persecution, and whole crowd turned their back on. The whole crowd turned their attention towards him, like, "Oh, you with him?" Woo woo. And he ended up denying Yahawashi. So when Jake get grabbed up, or they seeing motherfuckers outside their house with military uniforms on, they ready to bat they door, you gonna have a lot of Jake that's gonna basically, I'm gonna just say it. Hey, say it blatant, man. Jake gonna catch pussy, man. You gonna have a lot of Jake that's basically gonna, hey, they gonna tuck their fringes. You niggas that like to wear them t-shirt fringes, you gonna tuck them fringes. Right, you gonna bow down and conform to the image of the beast. Alright, and then, boy, your conscience gonna eat you alive, man. Alright, like Judas Maccabees, not Judas Maccabees, but Judas Iscariot. Hey, after he had did what he did to Yahawashi, his mind was fucking with him. His mind ate him up because he know he did wrong. He know what he did, and he ended up hanging himself on a tree. All right. So let's go to the book of Maccabees 1 and 11, and the reason in those days went there out of Israel wicked men, right? And again, this is going into the time where Antiochus Epiphanes was, you know, setting up, you know, his rule, enforcing everybody under him to become Hellenists, man. Right, in today's time, you can become a modern day Hellenist by conforming to the image of the beast, man. Right, taking that chip and accepting what this man's system come with. All right, in those days went there out of Israel wicked men who persuaded many, saying, let us go and make a covenant with the heathen that are round about us. And that sound like these different Israelite leaders, man. You know, I remember Bishop Nathaniel from the IUIC, he was telling Jake, matter of fact, this nigga General Yohana from the ISUPK, I was telling Jake to go and take that JAB. And it's gonna be no different when it comes to taking the mark of the beast, man. All right, these niggas is bought and paid for. They done sold out. All right, what Jay gotta understand is the so-called Hebrew Israelite community has been infiltrated. All right, which is, and it gotta be like that. It gotta be like that. You gonna have them, you know what I'm saying, that push, so to speak, against what we stand on, man. All right, if they infiltrated the Black Panther movement and all that, man, that wasn't shit. And Esau was scared of that. What makes you think that Esau ain't scared of what we got going on right now? It talks about that. Revelation, the 11th chapter. So you damn right he gonna do everything he can to try to infiltrate. You got sellouts among many camps, which is why, hey, a lot of these sellouts, they gonna be pushing Jake to go and take that. Man, go take it. I ain't scared. I'm gonna take it. Go look. Ain't nothing happening to me. And then no missiles come and your ass toast. All right. It says, for since we departed from them, we have had much sorrow. And you going at some point in time, bro, right? Some point in time on down the line in the future, we are gonna have to make that conscious decision to walk away from all this shit, man. All right. We're gonna have to walk away from all this shit. Everything that you got that makes you comfortable, house, car, PlayStation, all that shit gonna job. Because eventually it's going to get to the point where you have to take that MOTB in order to keep your job or in order to get a job. This is what it's all going to boil down to. This is why Jay got to understand the seriousness of what they involved in, man. All right, because you're not going to there ain't no plan B in this thing. The only plan we got is a trust in the Lord no matter what situation we put in. And we know we're going to be put through some shit. All right. Jake was in the same mindset in Egypt, bro. After we, and the Lord had looked out for us too. You know what I'm saying? The Lord had made sure we left, we ain't leave empty-handed, bro. You know what I'm saying? Jake had gold. Jake had cattle. Jake had every goddamn thing. Jake had miracles being provided for him. And guess what Jake was still saying? Damn, Lord took us out of Egypt just to die. We had spices, we had garlic, we had woo. That's how niggas think, man. So when Esau apply that pressure from above and apply that pressure from below, you gonna have Jakes that's not gonna break instantly. They may not fold, you know what I'm saying, right away. All right? But wait until, you know what I'm saying, wait until, they start going with things, they start having to sacrifice, they having to endure through shit. Then that's when that spirit of Lot's wife is gonna start taking hold of a lot of niggas. They're gonna start looking back and they're gonna be like, man, maybe it won't be too bad if I just go take it and we have a warm roof over our head, we got food, plenty of food, this, that, and like. You know what I'm saying? Shaitan gonna be on Jake's ass, and Jake is gonna be falling into them temptations, man. This is why I entitled this lesson, many would denounce Yahawashi during the hour of temptation. Because that temptation is gonna come, and it's not gonna come in just one way. That temptation is gonna come in many different ways, man. And when I tell you, bro, history repeats itself. Hey, Jake is going to be out here folding, man. And I just hope and pray shit I'm not one of them. But this is 2 Ezra 16 and verse 68. For behold, the burning wrath of a great multitude is kindled over you, and they shall take away certain of you and feed you idle with things offered unto idols. You know what I'm saying? Esau may try to get you to eat swine's flesh, eat, different abominations, and he's ultimately going to try to get you to take that chip, which is the ultimate abomination, man. It says, and they that consent unto them shall be had in derision and in reproach and trodden underfoot. So even if you bow down to this man and you're going to take that, that chip, that don't mean that you going to have a cool rest of your time in Babylon, man. One, because Esau can still put your ass down for taking that technology. Just because you get on board, that don't mean Esau put your ass down if he want to. I forgot what I was gonna say. In Khan, those that consent, you're gonna be had in derision because you're gonna understand that you fucked up, like I was getting into. And then they didn't wait until you see that they gonna have total access and control of you. Once you take that technology, they gonna cut shit off, and hey, Jake just don't know, man. But I'm gonna grab this last one in the book of Maccabees, and I'm gonna go ahead and end it off. This is the book of Maccabees, 1 Maccabees 1 and 41. And it reads, moreover, King Antiochus wrote to his whole kingdom that all should be one people. Right, everybody come under the same philosophy, so to come under the same the same way of living. All right. And everyone should leave his laws. So all the heathen agreed according to the commandment of the king. Yea, many also of the Israelites consented to his religion and sacrificed unto idols and profaned the Sabbath, the Shabbat. All right. So you had many Jakes, bro. All right. Many Jakes consent and become Hellenists. All right. And start sacrificing swine's flesh. Start doing abominations. Start participating in all that orgies and all type of shit. All right. And the point being is that you're going to have Jake that's going to conform and bow down to the image of the beast, man. All right, so I'm going to grab this last and I'm going to go ahead and close it out because I done pretty much, hit it on the nail. But verse 62, and it reads, howbeit many in Israel were fully resolved and confirmed in themselves not to eat any unclean thing. You had those that, that refused to basically conform to that man's way of living, wherefore they chose rather to die, that they might not be defiled with meats, and that they might not profane the holy covenant. So then they died, and there was very great wrath upon Israel. So with that being said, Lord willing, this lesson was edifying, and that I did prove the point. Many would denounce Yahawashi during the hour of temptation, man. All right, so with that being said, Shalom, Yahawashi, Shah Brakathum, and the Baba.